Okay, I'm going to quickly show you how to replicate this, but don't duplicate for your assignment. This is just as a guideline, and this is going to reflect an interactive, either a website or a project, and it's going to have one screen that's going to have buttons or links to other screens, and this is showing how it's connected. So it has one start page or one beginning stage, and then there are buttons or links that go out to other pages, or it could be another screen, or it could be another card. But the double arrow lines show that it goes back and forth, so you can click from title out to the other ones and then back to that. Either a hyperlink or a button or something that is creating it to link back, hyperlink back. So I'm going to show you how to do these and show you how to do the curved line as well. And the arrowheads are showing that they go back and forth. Sometimes you only need one arrowhead because it doesn't go back, and that's okay. But I'm going to show you how to do that, and it's easy process. So let's go to Start New, and a new blank page, and I'm going to first change the orientation, page layout, slide, landscape, and then I'm going to change the view to one page. There's no right or wrong, I'm just showing you one way of doing it. I can change the background color if I wanted to, design, page color, I can change it to a design, a texture, or a color. I'll pick something that won't blind you. And then there are a couple of different ways you can add text boxes. I'm going to go to Insert and Text Box and draw all the way down, not use one that's preset, and make my own text box. You can also use shapes, and I'll show you that in a minute. But I'm just going to type in Flowchart, and then I select the text, and I can make it larger, I can change the color, I can change the font type, anything. Just experiment with that. You just want to make sure that it's readable. You don't want to add something that's some fonts aren't quite as readable. Okay, so I've changed that, and then I'm going to go to Home and change it to Center. So I can first I'm going to show you that there's some presets, and then Outline, I'm going to change the outline on it, which is the border. I can change the color, I can change the thickness, which is the weight. I can change the fill inside with white, which is the default, to a color. So I'm going to go to the fill and change it to another color. I can change it to a texture or an image if I wanted to. So I'm going to select the text, and now I'm going to go to Home and then change it to center, so the text is centered in the text box. Okay. Now you can use the text box like I just showed you, or you can use shapes that's already there. So insert in shapes, and you'll see there's all kinds. There's even some that's called flowchart. So you can use any of the shapes you want. I don't care, I just want you to experiment. Or you can use the boxes. So I'm going to create another tier, a level here, and just pick some shapes. If you use shapes, you can't add the text directly on it. You have to right click and type add text to it. So I'll show you in a second. Let me add, here's just another shape. So in the text shapes, you have to add text to it. So I right click and add text. You can't put the text directly on the shapes. So now I can add it in, and I can change the size, change the color again, whatever I need to make it visible. So with the shapes, you have to right click to add text. When you draw a text box, you just add the text right into it. Okay, so let me show you how to add the lines. You go to Insert Shapes, and there's all kinds of lines. There's a double arrow line. And if you want to change the thickness, you select the line, and then you go to Outline. Select the line, and then I'm going to showing that these two are connected, and change the color of the line. I'm going to change the thickness, which is the weight. There, it's more visible. I could change it from a double arrowhead, and that's again the outline and arrows. If I just wanted it to go out and not come back to the first page, I'm the designer, so I could decide that. But for the assignment, I want to see at least one line that has double arrowheads and one curve. So we'll show you how to do that in a second. If I didn't want to go through a text box, I could make a curved line. And again, I'm going to go to Insert and Lines, Shapes, and I'm going to use the curve. So I put my mouse over and it says curve, click it. And then I start by clicking one time with my mouse. And every time I click the mouse, there's going to be a bend in that line. Now this is going to take a little bit for you to figure out if you haven't used it before. So bend, click, click, and then to end the line, I have to double click, click, click. Now it needs some arrowheads, so I select the line and go to Outline and Arrowheads, and I can add the double arrow if I wanted to. I could add single. I can change the thickness, the color. There you go. And that's how you make a curve. So practice with that. And like I said, you can't add text directly on it, but another option is to add a text box on a shape. So insert text box, and this is creating like an overlay, and we'll do this a lot in PowerPoint. So write the text on the text box, and then you can add a fill to the text box. I'm going to more colors, and then a transparency. This is how you make a transparent overlay. So the background bleeds through a little bit. It's usually a better design than if you just make it white, especially if you're using an image background. It looks good to have the image bleed through a little bit. So that's under outline, fill, more colors, and then the transparency bar. Play around with that. We're going to do that a lot in PowerPoint. It's an overlay to allow the background to show through a little bit. So sometimes the white looks too boxy and doesn't look good with the design. You'll see as we get going. But experiment making those text box overlays, because we will do those. And if you don't get it, I'll show you again when we get to PowerPoint. It's a very important tool to use, and just play around with this and don't feel that it has to look real professional. It does not. It's more important that you learn to use the tools and just play around with it. Get to know how to do the curved line, change the thickness of it, make the text boxes, change the colors. We're looking more at the design value of it than we are for the technical. When you're doing a professional, of course, you'll want to use a more professional looking and use the tools, shapes that's in the shapes called Flowchart. It looks a little better, but for this, please feel free to experiment and try different things, changing the fonts, changing the font colors, adding the connections, and having fun with it. Okay, if you have any questions whatsoever, please let me know. Email me and I can send you a video if you're not sure, or I can tell you when the tutor is available. You can sit with her side by side. Okay, have a good week. Bye-bye.